Hello, everybody, and surprise with a Crafty Crew podcast, St. Patrick's Day, Paddy's Day, but never St. Patty's Day special. Lads, how we all feeling?
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's a good day. We are kind of just throwing a last minute as live podcast together for you guys. So we have a selection of drinks that we normally only have 2 on each episode, but today I think there's a total of, am I right, 4 in total. So me and Nally are having Guinness now, like just for shits and giggles.
Because you have problems.
Exactly, yeah. There's also, me and Nally also have Brehan Brewhouse Shankar Dove Porter. In a weird twist where we all didn't get the same one, Mark and Walshy are on Western Herd's Dolman Irish Whiskey Stout, and then all 4 of us are going to have a Shamrock Shake, which I think is I'm not looking forward to that one. I've seen pictures and I'm very concerned. I should say, and I'll put this back in the edit, because I'm Kinger. I'm joined by Mark.
Hello.
By Nally.
Well.
And by Walshy.
Howdy.
So look, do you wanna? Will we crack on with a couple of Paddy's Day facts, Nally?
Yeah, sure, you may as well, I suppose. I've 1 or 2. It's usually, trying to do the history of the beer style or how the beer style is made. So it's generally a bit of a longish spiel, and it's hard to come up with one of them for Paddy's Day because 99% of the things people know, and then the rest of it, they're a couple of liners. So it's a bit hard. And this isn't much different, but it's as interesting as I could find. So there's an island in the Caribbean. It's called the Emerald Isle of the Caribbean. The country is called Montserrat. And the reason I bring this up is it's one of 3 places. So there's only 3 places that recognise Paddy's Day as a national holiday. There's Ireland. There's in Canada, it's the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. And then it's the country of Montserrat. So the reason this is kind of strange is the country of Montserrat being in the Caribbean and stuff like that, there's not... It's quite strange because you can check it out on YouTube for anyone who doesn't know it. But the lads over there seem to have a thick Irish accent. Like, they're fluent in Irish and they speak with like a West Cork accent. It's beyond belief. It's just mental when you see videos of it. But this all comes back from around the 1700s. There was neighbouring islands of St. Kitts. There was Irish immigrants were living there and stuff, and they kind of got shooed across by the people who were in charge of St. Kitts. Let's not talk too much about who they were or whatever, but as is their style, they shooed the Irish away and pushed them out somewhere else. And there was a lot of slaves.
Where has that happened before?
Yeah, I wonder, right? But there's a lot of slaves living there in Montserrat as well, and the Irish were indentured servitude, and they were essentially slaves as well, so they were mixing with all of the slaves who were there, and it kind of led to a huge Irish heritage being part of the island in Montserrat. And they're left to this day, they still speak with quite a thick Irish accent, so they do.
Just, Nally, so they weren't owned by the English until they were like claimed by the French, and then during the Succession War, the English took the island. So they actually went there of their own free will at the start.
The stones on this guy to cut Nally off and correct him on one of his facts. I love it. Like typical Paddy's Day banter.
I mean, it's fair enough. It's like it's a special episode. It's episode 9. I mean, if I've gone this far without having to be cut across, I feel like I'm doing okay. I got told a great little fact today by a friend of mine called Caitlin. She told me that not only is St. Patrick the patron saint of Ireland, but he's also the patron saint of Nigeria, which might explain why Guinness is such a big seller down there.
I actually discovered, and I never knew this, that the original colour for St. Patrick's Day was blue.
Up the dubs.
Up the dubs, huh? Up the dubs. And it's all it's because is Ireland's actual national colour blue as opposed to green? Is that correct?
Yeah. So the national colour of Ireland is actually blue and not green, which it's just the jerseys and stuff were made green, so a lot of people have it. It comes from the tricolour itself, so it does, and that's why people have it as green.
Yeah. But green ribbons and shamrocks were kind of they date back as far as the 17th century. But originally, we would have all been blue, and they would have been dyeing the river in Chicago blue as well, as opposed to green, which is, I think, mad enough.
No, just a funny thing talking about how we celebrate his colour as green now, but originally it might have been blue. Well, another St. Patrick colour is St. Patrick's flag, or St. Patrick's saltire. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. But say the Northern Irish flag, that's the red cross from corner to corner. So when the Union Jack was made, it was a combination of the English flag, so the cross of St. George, so the plus. The blue was the Scottish flag, you know, the white X with the blue. And then the red X from corner to corner was Ireland, St. Patrick's saltire. So it represented the whole of Ireland. So that's where the Union Jack comes from. So the colour representing St. Patrick in the Union Jack is red. So that's the third colour that he's involved in.
He's a bit of a colour slut, is he?
A little bit, yeah. Just as well on Nally's facts, so any massive music fans out there, Montserrat, like back in the 60s, I think, or the 70s, some lad set up this recording studio there to try and like boost, income on the island. And like some of the bands he got to get there, I think it was the Beatles producer, but he got the Dire Straits, Paul McCartney, Duran Duran, the Police, Elton John, the Rolling Stones, and of course the biggest superstar ever, Jimmy Buffett, all recorded albums on Montserrat.
Can you imagine those bands just turned up to Montserrat, this island in the middle of the Caribbean? Like, the middle of the Caribbean, just turned up onto Montserrat, all these lads coming out and just chatting away to them, and then all of a sudden feeling like you're in fucking West Cork. Like, imagine the shock to these boys.
How are you, Sting? How are you, Sting? How are the lads?
Where you welting? You're nothing but a langer.
Dr. Walsh, what's your fact for Paddy's Day?
I'd like to get onto a serious topic right now and involve leprechauns. So leprechauns are likely based off Celtic fairies. In Celtic folk tales, leprechauns were cranky souls, a bit like myself, responsible for mending shoes for other fairies. Something I don't do, but I would count myself as a cranky soul.
You look like one as well, to be fair. You look like a cranky soul.
I appreciate that.
Are you sure that's true, and somebody wasn't just trying to make a shoe joke that you took as a fact? Cranky soul.
Hey.
Fix the shoe with the cranky soul.
Boo.
Hey! While she said it, I just pointed it out. Nobody noticed it.
Can we get a drum there? Can we edit one of them in
Just
after he says that?
smash one of the drinks.
God knows.
No,
God knows after we rate them, one of them might need a smashing. So we'll wait and see.
Okay, so look, because we have extra beer to get through this week, will we crack on to our first beer? Nally, do you want to tell everyone what we're drinking?
Yeah, sure, we can do that. So we're on the Bretton Brewhouse. It's the limited edition Shankar Dove Porter. So it's been aged in whiskey casks. It's 8.8%. So I reckon this is might be a bit of a stomper here.
Walshy, do you want to tell us what you guys are on?
Sure. We are on the Western Herd, who we've had before. Their Dolman Irish Whiskey Stout, limited edition 2019.
Which is also aged in whiskey barrels, but has cocoa nibs and roasted coffee. So it's just a better stout aged in whiskey barrels on paper than what Nally and Kinger have. Because, me and Walshy are better people.
Well,
Scholars, Mark, is what
Legends
the word
and scholars, isn't that it? The Isle of Saints and Scholars, that's right. And we're the scholars, and they're the saints.
And learned doctors.
Yeah.
Sorry, doctor.
No, just on your point there, lads, I mean, generally don't we say more alcohol equals more better? And ours is 8.8%, whereas yours is a paltry 7 point something. So, just put that out there as well.
Okay, yeah, Nally, so you and I might kick off this one with our Shankar Dove Porter. So, aroma for me already is like, in terms of a porter, I think it's a lot sweeter than what I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting to be honest with you, but like,
yeah, it's definitely got something there. It's kind of quite sweet. There's, you can kind of, for me, I don't know, you can kind of smell like that bit of extra, you know, that kind of smokiness or that kind of richness you get from whiskey. You can kind of smell that in the background as well. Just it's not overpowering around, but you can kind of get a sense of something else as well. For me, I found it's actually holding quite a good head. You know, it looks like a proper good porter, proper good stout type of job. It's pretty damn black. Like, I'm holding it up to the light and I'm not seeing through it at all. It's very.
It's as dark. It's as dark as my soul.
Yeah, there's
no seeing through
you
that.
You could use that instead of blackout curtains or something like.
Oh, that is tasty. That's super tasty.
Oh, lad, I might need a minute. Yeah, so. Alright, so let's just go through it then. Let's go to the mouthfeel part before we give away too much. But it's like slightly carbonated, not too much, just a bit, like just enough, I think. And it's not like what one was it we had? Remember we had one there a while ago and it was real thick and it was kind of coated your whole mouth, kind of like a honey kind of sensation. This is nowhere near that. It just kind of stays for a minute or two and then it's gone, in a good way, like. It's not hanging around for too long, right?
Yeah. There's no major aftertaste there, like, is there? Like, it's kind of...
Yeah, I'd say it's kind of like a pretty clean finish, maybe, might be the word for it.
Yeah. Are you getting the whiskey kind of vibe off it? I'm not getting too much of a... I like speaking about that kind of heat feeling in your chest. I'm not getting an awful lot of that from this.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you there. It's not really punching you with the heat feeling that you generally tend to use sometimes. But it's when you take that first mouthful, that first bit of the sip, it's kind of at the front of your mouth. You kind of get that, you know, that kind of richness that you get from a whiskey, or that kind of, you know, a little bit of a sting, but in a really good way, I think. You get that kind of a little bit something just at the front of you.
A smooth sting for a good whiskey.
Exactly, and it's just at the front, like, it doesn't even go back to your throat or anything. It's just at the front of your mouth, you get that. And it's gone by the time it hits the back of your throat. Yeah.
Sorry, just a quick side note, and the boys will talk about their beer when they get to it, but Waltzy's holding up his effort of pouring their beer, and it's like 75% head. What's happened?
I
had to leave the room and scoop the head out and wipe it off with a tissue.
No way.
I'll just show you my bottle.
Yeah, I had to do the same. It's
insane.
I
don't know if you can really see it.
So it's just like, thank you for going first, because I had to clean up a bit of a mess.
But yeah, so
I'm getting like a real kind of a sweetness off this as well, Nanny. There's a strange, like, I don't think chocolate is part of the flavour here or anything, but like there's a kind of there's a milk chocolatey sweetness I find in this. It's I think it does coat your mouth that little bit. It's not very kind of severe, but I think it does leave a little bit of a taste after, but nothing that you know stays around and has any major effect for too long.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, man. I you know, maybe as I get more into it, it might be there. For the first one or two, it wasn't really. It was quite clean, dissipated pretty quick. But yeah, as you get into it, it's that little bit more there. But yeah, it is kind of sweet. Like, I mean, not in a bad way at all, but it's not what I'm expecting for something that's 8.8%. Like, this is ridiculously drinkable for something that's 8.8% for me. This
could be problematic. Like,
I would happily swap points to this. This does not seem like it should be 8.8%. Like, this is proper decent. Like, I'm enjoying this quite a bit. Like,
yeah, it's weird. Like, when I think of something like porter, or maybe, you know, I know porters and stouts are different, but like I obviously think of Guinness, and that it shouldn't be overly carbonated or too fizzy. But this, like you were saying earlier, when I poured it initially, it looked like it was going to be way fizzier and have that kind of like weird taste, but it doesn't. To be fair, it's actually a lot smoother than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, I could definitely see myself sitting drinking, you know, 4 or 5 of these easily, and at 8.8% or whatever it is, that's not a good thing.
Yeah,
really.
the other side of it as well, Kinger, is you know, like we were saying with the colour of it, it's pretty much just black. There's no other way to describe this. It looks like it's tar coloured. It's a deep tar colour, like La Brea tar pits. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd say though is, for something that looks that dark, I expect it to be super heavy. this isn't super heavy, especially for its so high percentage as well. It's quite light, you know, for 8.8% and that dark. It's actually quite light, so it is for me. For me, anyway, I think it's actually kind of a light enough porter.
I won't lie, when you said looking at this and it's so dark, and when you said what you were expecting, I thought the next words out of your mouth was to be like a heavy morning on the toilet tomorrow. I thought that's the I thought that's where you were going with that. So I was surprised you took it to an actual like a more civil statement.
Fair play on bringing it back to crassness, Kinger.
Absolutely, yeah, it has to be done. Nally, I think this tasting has been far too friendly. Will we just go with our gut and just rate this one, because like I think it's.
Yeah, man. I mean,
this is going to be pretty positive. Like,
yeah, man. I feel like you know, our whole aim of possibly getting a bit of back and forth and a bit of one of us hating this and the other one not. I don't think that's going to work out for me and you on this one, because this is quality beer. It's
quality. So look, both beers are going to be rated as usual on the Crafty Crew podcast's very scientific rating system of unbearable, booze, beer, brutal, and unbeerleavable. Now, I'm going to start off and just say I don't think two of us can put a beer in the unbeerleavable section of our rating system. But I'm going to say this is brutal off the bat, and it's a high brutal.
Kinger, just before, in case you wanna change that, I think it's fair for the two of you guys to stick this as an unbeerleavable, but it won't get the official designation until me and Walshy can officially taste it. Okay, so if the two of you give this unbeerleavable, what we'll have to do is our next special, maybe we'll swap, we'll try it as our side, or we'll swap or something, you know. So don't feel restricted just because there's two of you. Give your honest opinion based on the, you know, licensed, trademarked, scientific Crafty Crew podcast rating system.
Okay, I mean, look, I've had about 4 or 5 mouthfuls because I'm actually going to save it and enjoy it when you guys are talking about your beer. It's so good. I don't want to rush it. Like, it's actually incredible. So, that being said, I'm going to change my rating for the first time in the podcast as well. And I'm going to say that this is an unbeerleavable beer. And I like 100%. It's so much better than I was expecting. Yeah, that's it. I feel like Nally is not going to agree with me now, which worries me after such a cordial and civil rating.
Yeah, man. I just want to point out real quickly, like, I mean, if the guy who wanted to get rid of the style of stouts is calling a stout unbeerleavable.
Oh, that's a good point.
You know, and me, someone who absolutely loves stouts, is rating it next. I feel like, Walshy and Mark, you may need to get your skates on and go find yourself some of this beer, because it is unbeerleavable. So it is.
Wow.
This is exceptional. This is a class beer. It's ridiculous. It looks like pitch black, but it's not too heavy. It's not over carbonated. It's just enough, and the fact that you get that small bit of whiskey taste from it, but nothing major. Like, it's not burning the back of your throat.
It's so subtle.
At 8.8%, it's so smooth and so easy to drink. It's ridiculous. So it is. Like, I am absolutely gutted that I only got the one bottle of this. That's how bad it is. Like, it's so good.
You should be even happy that you got one, considering it wasn't one of our initial ones anyway.
Yeah.
It
was meant to be the Dolman.
Got sent to us by mistake.
Shout out to the absolute mess up.
Okay, well, look, I mean, me and Nally can wrap up our half of the rating. That Bretton Brewhouse's Shankar Dove Porter gets an unofficial, unbeerleavable rating on the Crafty Crew podcast.
To be confirmed.
Would that go down as like
TBC.
unbelievable exclamation mark? Or like question mark? Asterisk.
An asterisk.
Yeah. So, Mark, do you want to remind us of what you guys are on?
Yeah, let's get this over with. This is Dolman. So the Western Herd Brewing Co. Dolman Irish Whiskey Stout. It's a limited edition from 2019. Or, well, they say it is. If it's been hanging around this long, that's probably not a good sign. Aged in Irish whiskey barrels with cocoa nibs, cacao nibs, whatever, and roasted coffee. From County Clare. So, yeah. Okay, so we'll start at the start, Walshy, although just for clarity, me and Walshy have been drinking this while the other guys have been drinking.
Also,
So,
I'd like to throw out, and I know Mark has had a bit of a, just opening the bottle, both of us had a hard time. It looks like me more so than anything.
no, yours is just as bad. I just left the room so you couldn't see it. Walshy.
I'd left the room, and then when I came back to pour it again, I had to clean up again.
Yeah.
I've gone through like a fucking roll of paper to clean shit up. It's
What I have never seen in my entire life, right? So I poured it into the glass, which exploded with head, and then when
Absolutely.
I got the head out of the glass, and I looked at the bottle was filled with head. The unpoured drink was like a third of the bottle, and the rest was just head. And I was like, oh my god. So it's a hard pour. When you do get it out, it's kind of it's very dark. It's like, it's a stout, so it's pretty black. The head is quite dark as well. It's a brown head on it, and it holds it reasonably well.
I found pouring it as well. It looked like, I don't know, like tar or something nearly coming out of the bottle.
Yeah, it looks viscous. It doesn't look light, As for the aromas, kind of pleasant. It's kind of got like a mocha-y kind of taste. You get the cocoa and a little bit of the coffee. But then the taste. Walshy, what's your reaction to this taste?
First off, when I read the bottle and I seen coffee on it, I was like, I can't do it. I don't mind it too much. There is something very strange at the end of it, though. You take a drink, and then just at the end of it, there's a weirdness there that I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. Maybe you might have a better idea, but it's an odd one.
Yeah. So it's kind of, it's not heavily carbonated, but for a stout, it's kind of on the more carbonated end. You do get a heat off of it in your mouth. It's not major, so the whiskey is coming through. There's kind of a woody, earthy kind of hint to it as well, which is probably the barrel aged, which is nice. It's a weird crisp feeling, and also when the liquid leaves your mouth, what I'm getting is this kind of almost like hot air at the back of your throat, and it's got a real sour, bitter, like cocoa taste.
I'm nearly getting almost like a blast of, it's like sweetness.
Yeah, it's well,
which I found kind of a
bittery.
bit peculiar.
Yeah, it's not great though. Like, it's unusual. I think we can agree there's a weird aftertaste.
There's a weird, as it kind of goes down your throat. There's something weird there that I don't really know what to make of it. But in general, I don't mind it. I think this would be a big letdown, in regardless to the two buys beforehand. But I don't think it's overly bad. But that thing at the end, it would be putting me off a small bit.
Yeah, there's a heavy bitterness to this. Like, it settles down with the carbonation, and it's not as viscous as it looks, but the bitterness stays throughout it. And as it warms, the bitterness comes to the fore a bit more. And it's kind of, I'm pretty pissed off, to be honest, watching Kinger and Ali have a great time having a lovely beer. And I was sitting here and I'm kind of like, fuck. You're trying to think of reasons to say it's better than it is, when really...
This is not helping you at all, because you kind of came into this with a bit of bad form, because all you had was ciders left on you. And I think that episode still has a bad taste in our mouth.
Yeah, I have to just apologise to any listeners. I had a barbecue today in the nice weather, and I had a cider after it, and it's really just destroyed my constitution. And the lads have had a terrible time trying to deal with me. We all know a few cider drinkers out there, and once somebody has a cider in them, they're just a bollocks all the time. So I just want to say sorry to the lads on air, and to you listening if I seem a bit out of sorts.
Okay, well look, myself and Ali were far too agreeable with each other, and in a strange turn of events, Walshy and Mark, you guys have also been brothers in arms in this one, and very sociable with each other over the rating. So do you want to just draw a line under this one and give it a rating? I feel like it's not going to be as positive as mine and Ali's was.
No, definitely not.
I'll go first, Walshy, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to give this a booze. There's not much, like, while I'm pointing out things that aren't too wrong with it, there's nothing that's great with it. Like, there's nothing that you're saying, oh, that's a lovely thing, or that's a nice, like, aspect of this beer. It's a beer I'm making excuses for. Yeah, I'll finish it. I won't ever have it again. Booze.
Oh, wow.
I was going into it. I seen them coffee stouts. Just can't do it. Like that breakfast stout we had, I'm just not into them. So I was very pleasantly surprised, to be honest. Now that kind of taste at the very end is, I don't know necessarily if I'd say a letdown, but I just don't know what it is, and it confuses me. I'd go just beer. I do the initial taste of it. That end taste is would kind of have it on that lower end of just beer for me. It kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd say lets it down, but it's just, I don't know if it needs to be there.
I think we can agree that nobody should be rushing out to try this.
Oh yeah, no.
I'd like Western Herd to have a Google, and there's a brewery in Dublin called Third Circle, and I think I'd like the two of you to have a sit down together and discuss how you could do things better, because both of you need to improve a great deal.
I would like to point out that I don't fully agree with Mark on that part.
Surprise.
They don't need that bit at the end. I think it's very unnecessary, but other than that, it's a fine beer. The coffee isn't overly strong, which works for me perfectly. The whiskey isn't overpowering, which is grand as well for me, as I'm not a whiskey drinker either. So it's nice. I find it nice and smooth, except just that end taste, that thing at the very end.
So you like it apart from the taste, Walshy, yeah?
There had to be some kind of banter at some point with you two. It's fair.
I don't know.
Don't think he can disagree because he agrees.
No.
No, well, I mean,
It's the concept of it that he likes.
yeah.
Yeah. He likes the idea of
Well, like
it.
initially, the initial intake of it, and when it's in your mouth is fine, but when you kind of swallow,
That's what she said.
how else do you drink?
Like, the innuendo is
Innuendo.
insane.
Paul Walsh, 2021. When it's in your mouth, it's fine, but when you swallow...
Okay, look, so with 2 ratings of 1 booze and 1 just beer, where are we?
Well, we read it.
Are we rounding up then to just
Round
beer?
up.
Yeah, we rounded up to just beer with an asterisk.
With an asterisk,
Yeah.
until me and Nally can try it and either save it or
Bury it.
banish it forever.
Kill it with fire.
Okay, so that is a just beer rating with an asterisk for Western Herd's Dolman Irish Whiskey Stout on the Crafty Crew podcast. Okay, then that brings us to the reason we're all here. It's time to try the White Hag Brewing Company's Shamrock Shake Ice Cream Ale. I have never had an ice cream ale. I didn't even know that they were a thing. I've seen pictures of this online, and I was kind of disappointed I haven't seen them. The colour is already freaking me out before I even open the can.
Yeah, can I just talk about this? So,
Yeah.
Shamrock Shake, good. I'm going to do a Joey from Friends here for anyone. Shamrock Shake, good. Ice Cream Ale, good. 5.5%, good. The can has the normal White Hag Brewing Company logo, which is pretty good logo actually. It has their Spree series mark underneath, which makes me think, if this is unbelievable, I'm going to have to try the rest of the Spree series. Has anyone had any of it? Have any of you guys had any?
Yeah, the salted caramel. Oh no, that's the Druid series, isn't it?
Yeah, so just a quick one on the Spree series. The Spree series is kind of like special edition beers that they do. You know, like, so this one is a Shamrock Shake, and they have a couple of other ones. Like, they do the Druid series, which is their version of stouts, and they do different flavour stouts and things like that. And this is just their Spree series. So Spree is, you know, Irish for play or fun. So, you know, I guess it's their fun series, their play series, which is just limited edition runs and stuff like that.
Yeah, so the can is like a just sequential load of happy little shamrock smiley faces, which is just lovely. And on the back, they do call out, they say, this ale is a very seasonal, one-day-only celebration beer. First conceived by Ronald and his buddies at the Big M for our national holiday. So does that mean Ronald McDonald had something to do with this? It does.
Well, I
'cause
mean,
that's
it's a
right,
Shamrock Shake.
McDonald's, yeah.
You got there.
Hang on a second. I'm going into this not knowing, number one, what an ice cream ale is. Number two, I had no idea what the flavour is like. And I've continued reading from where you stopped reading there. And already I feel like I'm very apprehensive. Expect aromatic mint.
Oh,
Yes.
Have you ever had Shamrock anything
Mint
You know
before?
what a Shamrock Shake is, Kinger?
No,
Like
just come here. Can I ask a simple question? What's an ice cream ale?
They don't serve Shamrock Shakes in supermax, lads.
Right.
So, an ice cream ale, Kinger, I'm reckoning is going to be something very similar to a milkshake IPA. You know, it's kind of probably got a load of lactose in it to kind of give it that milky, creamy kind of
There's
texture.
a lot of lactose, yeah.
Yeah, actually, just on the ingredients there, yeah, barley, lactose, wheat. Yeah, so I'm assuming it's kind of just going to be pretty similar to an old milkshake IPA. And it's just a different name for it, I'm guessing.
I will let you know, Kinger. Mint is something that's there. Just so you're prepared.
Walshy, do you know what? Funny enough, it says it on the can. I thought it might be in there when it says it on the can.
That's
But when you read it, you were like, oh, okay. But I'm just saying,
Dr. Paul Walsh pointing out the obvious since 1985.
that's what I was hired for. That's how I got my doctorate. Or whatever it is.
All right, look, let's not put it off anymore. Let's crack these open and give them a go.
Oh, be the Lord.
Oh my good sweet Jesus, the smell.
Since
This is fantastic.
kind of a Paddy's Day thing, should this really be blue?
It should be, apparently, yeah, until the 17th century when green was introduced.
And green being introduced because it's associated with the shamrock. So this is a shamrock. Oh, Jesus, boys, I can't get over
And
that smell.
it's definitely green.
Oh my God, lads.
Okay, so it smells like mint chocolate ice cream. Yeah,
Yep.
we all
Like
agree with that.
exactly the same.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Now,
Yeah.
Now, lads, I know we go through this system and we go through the smell, but I'm just gonna jump to the color ahead of that really quick because
Yeah, it's a little weird, isn't it?
that's-
Just a bit.
that's green. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like hold it up to a light at a 90-degree
I
angle.
can see,
yeah.
I can see.
there's green
I
there,
can see
alright.
that there's
Yeah.
a bit of a normal ale color behind it, that kind of yellow, just at the edge of the glass, but that's green. Like someone's just scooped out the Chicago River and put it into a can.
Yeah, there's a hint of green there, alright, yeah.
Plain weird.
It's quite hazy as well, so it's got the kind
It
of
is, yeah.
normal ale IPA kind of haze to it, which is nice. I like that.
That mint smell is class, boys. I love mint, so that's good. I haven't tried it yet though, so I don't want to ruin it on me. But that smell is good.
Okay, look, I do like mint. I like mint ice cream. I like mint flavors. When it comes to mint beer, I'm very apprehensive. I don't know,
I mean, that's very fair.
very weird.
Like,
It's very weird.
not a
like.
flavour profile in beer you would be normally associated with, so I would be inclined to put you off.
Just open your mind, Kinger. It's fine. Just ease into it, baby.
I think, guys, try this. Oh my God. I am absolutely loving this. It's got the exact same mint chocolatey taste as it does in its smell. It's got a nice crispness, although it's not overly carbonated.
It's Paddy's Day, not
Apologies, crispness.
Oh, that's probably what you said. It just sounded like Christmas.
I thought I
Once
said
you
it
heard
too.
Christmas.
Yeah. A few months away yet, was
Yeah. 40 Mondays, apparently, from what I seen online.
Stop.
Yeah, I know.
Stop talking about Christmas.
So what are we thinking, guys?
I can't get over the mint. I do like mint, but I feel like it's not the mint I was expecting. Like a mint cornetto or a mint choc chip ice cream or whatever. That's what I was expecting. This is more like a mint sauce on a lamb type of mint. If it's like
Really, I'm getting
bitter, like.
Yeah, I'm getting quite the typical mint ice cream, generic mint ice cream, whatever. Kind of tasty off of it. It's pretty nice, but yeah, I have to say, if I had rated this on my first two mouthfuls, their unbelievable isn't high enough. But as I start drinking it, I'm kind of settling out a little bit. Nally looks very pensive, very deep in thought. He looks like he's about to make a major life decision, you know. What's going on over there, buddy? You okay?
I'm kind of a little torn here. There's an awful lot of conflicting things happening in my life right now. What is happening? Why is this a thing?
I know.
Like, I love mint.
I know.
Mint is my favourite flavour of ice cream. Why would you call this an ice cream ale and make it mint? And what's going on, boys? Like, is this good? What is this good? Do I like this?
I do have to say, like, massive kudos to the White Hag for doing something that's even remotely like this. I think to put a green beer out there is, like, it's an incredible move. I think it
Hang on, it's in, like, stainless steel cans, so nobody knows it's green until they buy it. You know? So don't credit them for putting an unusual colour out there. Just you're right, fair play for doing the unusual flavour. But
that's what I'm saying, yeah.
I don't think colour should come into this, Kiger. Just to nitpick your point for a bit of conflict, for some sort of, you know, entertainment in the podcast.
I think it definitely should.
It definitely has to.
If I didn't know this was called a Shamrock shake, and I cracked it open and poured out a green liquid, I'd throw it on the sink.
This has gone off.
Like, okay, I've gotten someone's, like, nuclear runoff or something here. Like, this isn't right. Like, 100%. Like, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, like, for the boys at White Hag, fair play to you boys. That's some effort at making something a bit, you know. And let's call a spade a spade. It's a bit gimmicky, but it's a great shout for Paddy's Day. Like, look at you doing there. Something well done. I think the green colour does have to come into it because, you know, fair play. I mean, it's a beer. You buy a can of beer for, and yeah, Mark, 100% agree with you. But it's already gimmicky enough for being a Paddy's Day. You know, the can, the flavour, the whole lot. It's gimmicky enough for being Paddy's Day. And I think you pour this out after buying a can specifically for Paddy's Day. You pour this out and you see it's green. You're going to be like, oh, god damn, that's a great freaking shout for the boys for making it that way. You know what I mean? I think that's a big plus. However,
no, fair play.
Nah. Just nah. It's grand. I'm never going to be going out to find another one of these boys. But yeah.
No way.
I love mint, but this is not doing it. Like, at the start, I think I was the same with Mark. When Mark kind of said, if it was the first two mouthfuls of this, I'm like, this is unreal. But as I get into it, boys, this is like, we just had Kinger, you and I just had an 8.8% stout, and I found that light to drink. This is heavy as fuck for me. I'm like, I can't. I couldn't sit there and have more than 1 or 2 pints of this. I'd be in bits. Like, I'd rather someone just dyes a Rockshore or dyes some kind of beer with food dye and give me that. Like, this is just really heavy and minty for what it is. It's I'll finish it though.
Nally, can I throw something at you, right? Because I think we can all agree it's got a minty taste, and if you like mint, this could be a nice beer to try. If you don't like mint, you know, don't come near this. But the carbonation, Nally, right? When we had our first few mouthfuls, the carbonation is at its max. It's full there straight from the can. I'm looking at my pint glass now. There isn't a single bubble hitting the top. I think a big problem with this could be way under carbonation. And I think what could have been a very refreshing beer, because ice cream is a refreshing food. There's a reason it's a dessert, you know, or for summer's days. If this was super carbonated, it would stay refreshing and the taste would complement the carbonation. And I'd just like to throw this out to all of you, that I think carbonation could help this a lot. And I think it needs it.
Yeah, so Mark, I'd agree with you on that, man. Like, if you swirl the glass, so any beer that's kind of decently carbonated, when you swirl the glass, okay, the head might not stick around for a long time, but if you swirl the glass, you get a head back on it again. But I mean, you swirl this and there's, you know, within a second it's gone. There's no head on it. It's not highly carbonated. It's very, very... Yeah, but Kinger, like, that's pretty much gone nearly. Like,
I think, like Mark was saying, I don't think the colour has to come to it. I think the colour has to be a major factor for the day that's in it. It's definitely, like, it's a gimmick drink for the holiday that's in it. I don't, to an extent, I think it has to come into a factor as well. Like, it's not you're going to be your traditional white hag lager that's out all the time. They're stouts that's out all the time. This is a kind of one-off into lead of Paddy's Day, no more than some other ones that'll come out leading into a holiday. Valentine's will have specific ones that come out as well. I enjoy it for what it is. What it
That's
is.
a very
no,
fair point.
I'm not going to like, oh yeah, no, I have to make sure that I stock up on these before they go out of sale. But, you know, the day that's in it, if I'm, you know, obviously we can't go too far, but if I'm with the family or something, it's like, oh, I'll get, 3 or 4 cans for them to enjoy, just to try this kind of mad looking beer. It'd be really cool. But I don't think it's bad. I think it's very drinkable. No, I'm not going to have a feed of them by all means, but I don't think it's that kind of drink either.
Yeah, well, actually, I think you're after nailing it there, to be fair. I think, some of the stuff might be a bit harsh, but I agree with you there. It's, as they say themselves, it's part of the spree session. I think they brought one out in this line for Christmas. Was it an eggnog ale or something they brought out for Christmas?
Yes, they did, yes.
I think that could have been part of this line as well. So it does seem to be a very seasonable thing, or a very holiday-based thing. And, fair play to them for trying to bring something out, something new to try around these different times. But, as what you're saying, I'll go get it, but I'm not rushing out to find it again, It's grand.
Yeah, you'll get it for the day that's in it. But, yeah, it's not something that you'd be like, like mid-July, you're like, oh, there's one of them, I'll get it. But for the weekend or the week that's in it, you're like, yeah, I'll pick it up just to say that I drank it.
Yeah, but if it's a Shamrock shake from, what did they call it here? Ronald at the Big M. If they make them in July, hot damn, I'm getting me about 1 million of them, so I am.
Okay, fair enough.
I have to say, I think my sweet tooth is starting to take over here, and I'm actually starting to enjoy it.
I am as well.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a super big place for this. This is like a nice, almost like a dessert drink, or like summer's day kind of thing.
100%.
And I agree a lot with what Walshy said, that when this comes out, I'll enjoy it for what it is. If I was having a St. Patrick's Day party or drinking on Paddy's Day, this is the kind of thing I'd be telling all my mates, lads, let's all go get a can of this. Just try it. It's nice. We'll all have a can, and every year we'll have like a can of White Hag. Oh yeah, the Shamrock Shake's coming out. Let's all get a crate of that or whatever and have 1 or 2 cans. And I think if they actually just bottle condition it, well, it's in a can, but prime this a bit better, or add a bit more sugar or something just to get that carbonation up a notch or 2 notches. They're talking about a year-round really delicious beer here, or even a Cadbury cream egg type deal where you sell it for like 6 months. There's like a season of it. When it's warm, you sell it. Nally looks like he's about to punch his computer screen. He wants to say something. I think
I found this beer's niche. I think I found where it lives, boys. So, Mark, I agree with you with what you're saying, but just when you were saying there, like a dessert type thing or whatever, have you ever had an old creme de menthe after you've had a big dinner?
No.
Exactly.
Have you ever wanted a
digestive?
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you ever wanted a creme de menthe to last the length of a fucking pint?
Every time I've had one.
Same here. Like I always have. Like they're class, but maybe that's what it is. Maybe they, if they want to market it as something a bit extra, maybe instead of a creme de menthe after a big dinner, get an old glass of this, like 330 mils of this into a pint glass.
100%.
It's more enjoyable. You'll stick around for longer. You're still having your drink. You don't need to swamp a shot of creme de menthe and then go straight back onto a heavily super carbonated beer that you're going to get afterwards. Have this for a while and sit on it for a bit. Could be good, like.
Yeah.
We have digestives. We have dessert wines. Why not dessert craft beers?
Exactly. I mean,
here we go.
There you go. Crafty Crew.
We put a
dessert ice cream ales.
There we go.
Patent pending.
Crafty Crew inventing
Is this a thing?
Inventing entirely new dinner courses from scratch. That's how we do.
I mean, look, in terms of aroma, it's minty. Color, it's green. It's mint. Taste, it's mint. It's green, like it's minty. Do we want to just like rock on with our rating for the Shamrock Shake?
Yeah, and I'm going to jump in first here, if you guys don't mind. I think you kick this carbonation up the ass. This goes way up. But with the taste, what it is, you know, the achievement of the colour. I'm going to give this a Brutiful. It's going to be not like a super high Brutiful. It's going to just kind of just about get up there for me. But I think if you kick this with a lot of carbonation, it would be a solid Brutiful. And if they can keep this, move it from the Spree series to their normal, you know, production or whatever, and stick it in as a kind of targeted dessert drink, this could be a really, really good beer that everybody loves in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think I can't give this just a beer rating because it's so unique that it's like, it's not beer. Obviously it is, but like it hits, it tells you what it's going to be, and it hits it square on the fucking nose. Like, it's unreal. The more I drink of it, the more I'm getting into the sweet mint taste. I think it's Brutiful. It's definitely a Brutiful beer. I can't really fault it, to be honest with you.
It's nice. Like, I mean, I think I think our expectations were so high that the fall down could be a bit dangerous. But I think when you look at it objectively, it is still a really nice beer. Maybe you'd only have 1 or 2, but it's still really nice. Like,
I honestly didn't have any expectations. Like, I didn't know it was mint until we read the back of the can at the start of the ratings. So like, but yeah. So Brutiful from me, Brutiful from Mark. Walshy?
First off, I'm pleasantly surprised on Mark there, because the way you were kind of talking at the beginning, I didn't think you'd go so high. I agree. I think it's Brutiful. I'm putting it down to what it is. It's that gimmick Paddy's Day Shamrock drink. Like you said, you're not going to go out and be looking for these on a regular basis. This is clearly killing Nally because he knows what the rating's going to be. But I think it's Brutal for what it is. It's that special holiday type of drink specific towards Paddy's Day. I think it's Brutal.
Yeah.
Yep.
And to Nally for the come back down to earth.
It's grand. It's grand. It's look. I'll tell you straight out the bat. It's just beer for me.
Yeah.
I'm not giving it a Brutal. It's grand. I love mint. Mint is class. It's probably one of my favorite flavors. Definitely my favorite flavor of ice cream and stuff like that. However, you see, I think Mark hit it on the head earlier on. I think this needs to be more carbonated to get up to a Brutal for me. Like, if this was more carbonated, I think it could hit a Brutal, but it's not. It's a bit too flat to hit that for me. I think, like I was saying, it might be a good dessert kind of drink, but to be that dessert kind of drink, it needs that carbonation. So, like, as it stands, it's just beer. However, if they bring this out the same and just bump up the carbonation, it could easily get a Brutal for me. But the way it is at the minute, it's just not there for me. That's just the way it is. But not a terrible beer, just room for improvement.
yeah,
fair.
And I have to say, like, just shout out to the White Hag. Like, we've all enjoyed it. Okay, we've all thought it was really tasty, and I know we kind of came down a little bit from. I had super high expectations. I thought I was going to be injecting this shit straight to my veins.
That was just you, by the way.
Episode. In typical Dublin style, Walshy, huh?
Typical.
Huh? Were you going to make a comment about where I'm from there, were you?
Whoa, Athlone is much better.
Yeah, fair. Very fair.
Okay, but yeah, I think we really, really good shout out to them, and I wish a lot more of the bigger, more established breweries would take on stuff like this.
Take a risk and go for them kind of.
Yeah, this
outlandish.
is the biggest celebration of White Hag. If I had to give the brewery a rating for this, I'd give them an unbelievable rating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they've taken a chance. They've thought, I'm going to do something for. Yeah, obviously they're going to make money off of it because it's a gimmick. But obviously they tried to do a good job. Last week we had a drink where people tried to make a gimmick and clearly didn't give a fuck about doing a good job. And as such, rosé ciders can go fuck. They're fuck right off, okay? I said it.
That's not even a gimmick. It's an actual thing.
I would like to say massive shout out to the White Hag. Like, they make some really high quality beers, and I enjoy a lot of their beers. And they're one of the few craft breweries around Ireland that tend to make an awful lot of different flavors. Like they have the entire Dark Druid series, which is just a load of different types of stout, which is great crack. Like fair play to them for going out and experimenting with these flavors. and giving it a go. I think that's a good idea.
They clearly have some lad in their staff where they're just like, hey man, go mad. Go make a few beers there. And that lad's just like, yeah, Shamrock shake, anybody?
Like, I'd say out of four of us, I'd probably be the White Hag fan. I mean, I've tried loads of them. A lot of them stouts that Nally was referring to, the Dark Druids. There's some outlandish ones there. This could kill Kinger a little bit. I had that Mexican hot chocolate, the eggnog. You know, and some of them, you know, there's the salted caramel is one of my favorites. The Mexican hot chocolate was an odd one. But for what it was still nice. It had chilies in it. There was a bit of a kick on it, which was odd. But you don't see that too much with other ones that I've come across anyway. You'll see the few little gimmick ones, but nothing that's like out there. And White Hag seems to go out there when they're like, do you know what? Fuck it, lads. Let's be adventurous with this one.
Yeah, and as the kind of brewery that puts their pint glasses in off licenses to have for free when you buy a few beers, I also like that about them.
I want that glass.
Okay, so I think that gives us a beautiful rating for the White Hag Shamrock Shake.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, Western Herd, take a look at this White Hag people. This White Hag people know what they're doing.
Mark's not letting that one go. My God. Okay, and finally, and thank God, that brings us to the end of our Paddy's Day special episode on the Crafty Crew podcast. Lads, thanks a million. It's been a trek. We're back as normal on Friday. Mark, just give us one little roundup of where people can get in touch.
Yeah, so you want to hit us up on socials, guys. We're on Facebook, Crafty Crew Podcast. We're everywhere you listen to your podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever it is, we're there. Even YouTube. And if you want to follow our ratings for all the beers, we're on Untapped as well.
Yeah, boys, anyone who gets a chance, hit us up on Untapped and we'll give you a follow back. You get a sneaky peek into, you know, how our beers and how our styles are going a little bit earlier than the podcast might come out. So, you know, you might be able to pick up the beers and stuff in time. So give us a follow on that as well.
Cool. So as I said, we're back to normal on Friday with our Trappists, which were a resounding success.
Hell yeah.
Right? So just to remind everyone, it was the Westmala Trappist and the Rochfort 8 as well, which blew me away for
so that
a
was
start.
the Westmala Trappist triple. Just, you know, if you want to be fancy about it, Kinger, but you know.
That's
how we do
that
it.
triple.
I mean,
That triple.
those goddamn monks knew what they were doing.
It is a triple, not a double.
Fuck off.
But you look like a monk, of course you
Yeah,
do.
so I made the beers. I made all the beers. Fuck you. What would you know about?
So as the lads argue amongst themselves there, I'm going to say thanks a million and happy St. Patrick's Day from Walshy, from Mark, from Nally and from myself, Kinger. See you on Friday.